Everyone, what's going on? Ben, your agent. I'm with Kristina Park here today. Let me lower down the music as we're talking here.
Yes,
So,
that's nice music you got there.
yeah, thank you. And we're gonna wait a few minutes as people jump on. Kristina, thank you for coming on today,
Of
and I'm really
course.
excited to share with our audience today on the topic of unlocking your legacy estate planning secrets reveal. Hot
Hmm.
topic today as we been discovering this last few months going on with settlements and homeowners wanting to be assured of how to keep their house, right? And
Hmm.
and what better way than talking to you, Kristina, on this topic today? So let's give it a few more minutes and one
Okay.
more minute, and we'll just jump on live here. If you guys, for the first time, has just been on this YouTube channel for the first time, and you like content about real estate, estate planning, please follow us. On the bottom, there's a ticker right there. You can follow us on IG, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I go by Ben Your Agent, and Kristina, yours is
Park
which
Legacy
one?
Law Firm.
Art Legacy Law Firm.
Yep.
Super simple. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pause the music here. And I'd like to give you guys a little background about Kristina. Kristina is an estate planning attorney serving the Northern California and Southern California. She has graduated from UC Berkeley. Good
Go
job. And
Bears.
yeah, yeah. Mine was a Bible college, no big deal. So,
Even better.
and and she was admitted to the California bar in 2014,
Yep.
and just her passion is to serve. So, a little background story for those that don't know us. Me and you, Kristina, have we met through a ministry
We
called
did.
Next,
Next.
and
Anyone that's watching who is part of Next, shout out to them.
all of them that are watching right now. And it is for those that don't know where that ministry come from. It's Sarang Community Church in Anaheim. I
Yes.
think it's off Brookhurst, right? Brookhurst.
Yep, in Anaheim.
Yeah, in Anaheim.
Man, that
So
was a long time ago
I know. Don't tell them how long it was.
when we were young and free.
It was yesterday. so so I'm really pumped and excited to reconnect. That's the thing about real estate. What's amazing about real estate is that it brings back people, because what real estate is all about relationship first at the end of the day. So I'm really excited to reconnect with Kristina, and that she said yes to doing more business and helping more families together. So without further ado, Kristina Park. So
Yay. Hello,
yeah,
everyone.
yeah. So also want to let you guys know, if you guys are streaming and you guys want to make any comments, that we are taking comments throughout the whole show, but we'll also have a Q&A at the end. So if you guys have any Q&A at the end, wait till the end and we'll answer any questions as well. So thank you for all already joining us. We have a few people, Kristina, joining us already. So
Yay.
hello to everyone. And let's go ahead and, let me go a little bit more. She's been in business since 2017. She has done over 35 projects in multiple cities, and with a SB9 and 10, looking to do more projects. Oh, that's another. Oops, scratch that. My
That's okay.
bad.
I wish I was doing SB9.
Oh man, my bad. Scratch that. That's what you get for doing live, right?
That's
So
Ben having too many friends right there.
yeah, my bad. Okay, so let's dive with the first topic, right?
Okay.
Dive into the world of estate planning. Kristina, tell us why it's not just for the wealthy people. That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a really big misconception about estate planning. When you think about estate planning, what words come up? People think like old, like rich, trust fund
Yeah,
babies, right? But really,
LLCs.
there you go. Yeah. And estate planning really is for everyone. It is about protecting your family. So not just money, but if you have, right, your minor children, or if you have a house, right, you have something to protect. And
Hmm.
so that's why it's not just for the wealthy. And as an example, I will share, in California, anyone that owns a house, right, should have estate planning documents in place, and specifically a living trust, right? Because if you pass away owning a home, right, and can we be honest here? Any home
Yes,
that's in
please.
California is above 150,000. You cannot afford anything under that. There's no way, right? So
Yeah.
in California probate court, if you own assets that are fair market value assessed at 158,000 and above, your stuff is going to be, your house is going to be stuck in a probate court for up to 2 years. That's
Oh
two
wow.
years where your kids, your loved ones cannot do anything with that property, meaning rent it out, because they don't have the right to that property until the probate court releases it.
Oh
So
man.
some people
Yeah.
might ask, like, oh, but like on $1 million home right now, I don't, that's not my equity. I have lower than that, right? Because I did like a first time home buyer program. I only put down 3% and I don't have equity. But it's not the equity of the owner that the probate court is going to assess. It's going to be the fair market value of the entire property
Right.
that your name is titled to. So if you live in California, you have a home, definitely you need a trust. Even though we might not think of ourselves as wealthy, if you own a home in California, you're pretty
You're
dang
welcome.
wealthy, man.
You're
I gotta
blessed.
say. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other section is about people with minor kids. I help a lot of younger families that just became parents, or people who have minor kids that are teens, or in elementary school years. Estate planning. The other piece is, if you were found in an accident, is the police and the EMTs going to understand who to call to take care of your kids? If your kids
Mm.
are at home with a babysitter certainly is not going to raise your kids, right? So what if somebody, like some uncle, stepped out and said, he said, oh, Christina and Sean, they said that I can take their kids. You would
Yeah.
definitely want the police and the California government to make sure
No.
that this uncle that I did not assign to take my kids, prevent him from that, right? So
True.
California law is there to make sure that our kids are protected, but if you but during that time of deciding, your kids are going to be in police custody, are going to be child protective services. So
Mm.
we
Okay.
set documents and emergency cards in place so that never happens to your kids. It's actually really easy. You get
Oh.
a emergency guardianship card that says this person is one who can take my kids if something happens to me, and slip
Oh.
that inside of your wallet in front of your driver's license. So if you're ever found unconscious in an accident, EMTs will, in order to get your identity, they will see this emergency alert card first. So that
Oh
way your kids
wow.
never end up in CPS. So yeah. So again, even if you don't own a home, if you have minor kids, it is an essential piece of doing life.
And where do they get the card? It can. Where do you get that type of card? Is it?
They can reach out to me. If anyone wants to reach out to me, please go to parklegacylaw.com and ask. There's a section that you can fill out. Ask for emergency guardianship card, and we'll be sure to send it over to your email.
Wow, that's great. That's a very good point. That's good. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, that's true. They always think of like what is in the state planning rather than like just the other side. So I did not know that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. And
that's
it's not only for stuff, it's for your kids, really. And I can go more into detail about it later, but
yeah,
it's a gift that you leave for the people that you leave behind if something were to happen to you. It really is.
awesome, awesome. Is there more you want to
No,
on this?
that's it. Yeah.
All right, cool. And then so the next one is unveiling the must know, Christina, the must know estate planning documents. What are the difference between will, trust? Because a lot of people get that confused, right? So
Mhm.
please.
Yeah,
Explain
yeah,
why.
sure. And people ask, it's a really good question, because if someone's asking, what is the difference between will and a trust? You're
Yeah.
already 90, I want to say 90% ahead of the population, because people mostly don't think about that. A lot of time, people who ask this question are people who plan ahead, who usually have other parts of their lives very organized. So I like answering this question when people ask, like, oh, what is the difference between will and a trust? Let me
Yeah.
tell you, I can tell that you've done your research, you're curious about this topic because you're prepared. So
Yeah.
basically, will is, in essence, it leaves everything that you own to whoever you want. So the one thing about will, though, if you only have a will and not a trust, is all of the content, all of the text that's within your will is a
Mm-hmm.
public record. So
Oh.
if you didn't have a trust and only a will that says, okay, well, I own $1 million worth of assets, and I would like $300,000 to go to my brother, and $200,000 to go my sister, and
Mm-hmm.
the rest to go distribute evenly to my kids. So everyone will be able to see how much you left for each
Oh,
person.
wow. You
And
don't
there
want
are
that.
people, these characters that go down to the courthouse that have access to these documents, right? Public records. And they will know, let's say Christina Park or Ben Fay got a $300,000 inheritance. They will find a way to get that, swindle that money out of you because it is
Wow.
public record. They will knock at your door. They will, do all kinds of schemes. So you
Oh,
do
wow.
not want to leave money to people just in a will. What you want to do is you want to turn that will into what's called a pour over will.
Pour
Pour
over.
over will is basically a higher level will that basically pours over everything that you own into a trust. So, which is a private document that will never be public, only is circulated among your family and whoever you named. And that is where you will name, okay, this much to this person, that much to that person, and it stays private. And will pour over will in this case, by definition, will only say, my name is Christina Park, and I am leaving everything that I own to this Park Family Trust. And Park Family Trust is a separate private document. So that's a
Wow.
huge difference between just a regular will, pour over will, and a trust. So those are the differences.
Okay. So is it good? Do you need to have both, or just trust will satisfy pretty much the
Yeah,
will?
so if you are going the living trust route, then you will just have the pour over will as a companion. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you only do the will, let's say you own less than $158,000, then I would recommend just going the will route. You don't need a trust, because anyone that owns under 158,000, which means they don't own a house, they don't have much, then their probate process is called a small estate probate, which is a little bit faster, but at the same time, still is public.
Okay. Okay. And there's more. There's more than just a will and trust. What other
Of
documents?
course, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, that's to answer the question between will and a trust. And then when you're working with an attorney, you want to look into getting your healthcare power of attorney as well as
Mm.
durable power of attorney. So people ask questions too. What's the difference between these two powers of attorneys? Healthcare power of attorney is something that decides your health care decisions. For example, yesterday was National Healthcare Decision Day, which is a conversation starting point, talking about, do you want your organs donated? Do you want life support? Do you want to be resuscitated? So all these are choices that you can make inside of your healthcare power of attorney. And the person you name in healthcare power of attorney would be the person who advocate for you based on this document that you um, uh,
Okay.
wrote down. On the
Okay.
other hand, there is a durable power of attorney, which is also called a property power of attorney. And that gives the right or the authority to the agent to sign property documents. For example, you're unconscious, you need money for your hospital bills, but the bank account that you own, you're not able to sign the check, right, to get the money out.
Right.
So whoever you gave the property power of attorney will be able to go to the bank and liquidate that money so that it can be used for you. So those are the two big differences between healthcare power of attorney, that's for healthcare choices, and then property power of attorney or durable power of attorney.
And that's who the real estate agent normally work with the lawyer to sell the
Mhm.
house typically. So
Yes,
yeah, now it's all connecting. Thank you.
that's good.
I was
Yeah,
wondering, I'm
and there
like,
are Yeah, and then there are other documents depending on your situation. You know, if you own a business, I know there are a lot of business owners, business
watching.
people listening into this live.
Yeah.
If you have a business, whether it's an LLC or a general partnership, you want to make sure there is a clear instruction on how to leave your business interest to the people you want it to go to. Okay, you can do that through the trust, or you can do it through another document called general assignment of business interest. But depending on what your structure is, if it's a single member LLC, very easy. If it
Okay.
is a partnership with different amounts of interest, a lot of people have 51% and 49%.
Right. Uh-huh.
That'll also necessitate the attorney to look at the operating agreements and make the interest flow down to the person that you want to, and in different ways. So that's something to think about for as a business owner.
And in your consultation, that's kind of what you'll share and
Yeah.
share all the documents that they need.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
although I will tell you, I've heard of many cases actually of clients working with an attorney that just literally just, what is your name, birthday, and what's your spouse's name, and what are your kids' names and birthdays, and they just gave them a whole bunch of automated printed documents, and that's it. They weren't asked, do you own a business? They weren't asked, like, who do you want to leave it to?
Oh,
So that's the difference between working with an attorney who will take care of the comprehensive plan
yeah.
versus
Mhm.
someone who is literally doing like a document mill, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to work with an
No,
attorney
that kind
like
of
that.
explains those people that like. I mean, I don't know. Susie Orman. She's a big like contributor to this
Finance.
whole thing. That's how
Mm,
I kind of got introduced myself. Is my mom bought the whole package from TV and
yeah,
um, But if you're working with like Kristina here, she'll take more time to like figure out exactly what you need,
yeah.
comprehensive, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, never buy like a package. I mean, that stuff
yeah,
that the legacy that you want to leave your kids, and your loved people is gonna be, um, it carries more weight, right? Than
yes.
just buying something from. I mean, I love Costco, but but just buying something from Costco.
Yeah, it's more personable in my opinion. So
Definitely. Yeah.
awesome. So let's tackle the next subject. We want to bust common myths, right, Christina, holding them back from securing their family future. So what are some common myths?
Well, this one's gonna be short, right? Because I already talked about it. Number
True. Yeah.
one, the myth is I'm not old,
It's
so I
not
don't
rich
need
for
one.
rich people. Yeah, it's not. It's for
So
anybody.
yeah, but even if you're not old, if you have kids, if you have loved ones that are going to take care of your things after, do you want them to go through the whole 2 years of probate process? I always tell my
Yeah,
clients,
that's crazy.
you're doing a favor to whoever will step in and help you with this, because you are saving them, taking PTO from their work and going into court. And just imagine how hasslesome that is. And if you
Yeah,
have like kids that live outside of the state, they're going to have to buy a plane ticket, take a trip, and go in and out of the courthouses. You don't want that. So that's number one. I'm not old, so I don't need one. And then another one is I'm not rich, so I don't need one. But like I
yeah,
said, if you own a home in California, it's definitely going to go through probate. You want to make sure to do that. And another thing that I heard is like, oh, working with an attorney is scary. I don't want to go into a big law firm and, sit across a huge conference room table and, like feel like they're asking me like questions and, I don't know what to say. But there are attorneys that are personable, that are not like the typical, white collar, suit and tie. You want to do your research to find someone that you feel very comfortable with, because this is talking about your family. It's not just talking about some, doing taxes or whatever. Like it's talking about your relationships. So you want to go with someone who has a personable curiosity, truly caring about your family. So yeah, those would be the 3 myths.
Cool. How do you turn around a scary topic? I mean, this is not on, but how do you
Mhm.
turn a scary topic to a more enjoyable conversation with new clients?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. I think as lawyers, we are not trained. I've met so many lawyers, obviously, over my career, and like people that I've worked with on the same side, on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Um, Lawyers in general, like engineers, like we don't have people skills. I think lawyers come across as scary because it's all about numbers, like billing the hour and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
and doing, knowing the law and pushing it and arguing it. But
Yeah.
there's a skill that I wish the law school would teach more lawyers, which is about like curiosity, like
Ooh,
true
I like that.
curiosity about the other person. So for example, like if I'm talking to you, Ben, and I asked you, okay, what do you do? Like how many homes did you sell, and what's your schedule like? That was very cut and dry, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I asked you, hey, do you have a pet? What's your dog's name? What do you like about the dog?
Ooh,
Like it's a different level of connection, right?
yeah.
And I think that's something that, I mean, thankfully, I have always been a people person. So even though law school didn't teach me that, I just like naturally comes to me, which is I'm very grateful. But I do know lawyers that take courses to up their people skills. So I think changing scary to familiar or comfortable, it really has to do with that people relationship first skill, and also true curiosity. Because a lot of clients come in, they look worried. I just tell them like, hey, everything that we talk about today is under attorney-client privilege, confidential. So you can tell
Yes.
me, the more candid you can tell me, the better. And I also kind of open up that with that warmth, right? And it
Yes.
gives them a safe space to share.
Yes. That's perfect. I'm glad we covered that to let people know more of who you are, right? Because
Yeah.
that's how I know Kristina. She's very warm and personable. So
You're
yeah.
kind, too kind, too kind.
No, I'm telling the truth.
Okay.
We're having this conversation yesterday. It's
Yeah.
okay if I share. So
Yeah, go ahead.
I had this conversation with Christine. I'm like, she gets bombarded with realtors all the time, and I'm always trying to connect with lawyers, but I think like us knowing each other throughout time, even with many years not talking to each other, right, Christine? It's been like
Yes.
10 plus years.
I think so, yes.
And when we get on the phone, it's like an instant connection. Like
Hmm.
we reconnected so fast, so that tells a lot about Christina's character, and
Oh,
that
thank
she's not cut and dry. And I hope I am the same with my audience here today. Like we really genuinely care, and we put this content out there not for ourselves, but to really empower whoever's watching this today. So if you were empowered, do us a huge favor, like the channel, heart the channel, and please follow our social media. That it's free to do that. So the next thing, and the last, not but last, is staying ahead with expert tips on adapting your plan to life's twists and turns. Please
you.
talk about that.
Sure. With estate planning, a lot of people have it as a task that they need to check off. And
Hmm.
once you check it off, you don't go back and look at the documents again. But really, the truly effective estate plans, when I've done the trust administration side, which is when the person passes and you administer the trust that was set in place, truly effective trust plans are continually updated on a regular basis.
Hmm. Okay.
So revisit it, every 3 years. Revisit it, every year yourself. You can take a look at the documents, or there should be a summary in front of your trust portfolio of how things are to be distributed. And who knows? Maybe your relationship with the person that you set up as the kids' guardians has changed. Maybe that person married another individual that you don't trust so much, right? So life is always like a changing landscape. So
True.
you want to go back and make sure you update things. And also another thing too is if you acquire new properties, whether that be real estate or like new IRA account or 401k,
Okay.
you know, just make it a point every 3 years at least to make sure that you know what you have acquired and then add it to the list, right, to the trust. And
Okay.
I think the expert tip here would be to go with an attorney who is not going to nickel and dime you for every question that you send them. Because when
Hmm.
clients get new 401ks, they want to ask, okay, I want to do the right thing by keeping it updated, but I'm going to ask my attorney how to do that. But if you ask the attorney through email and got a bill in the mail for $125,
Oh yeah.
that just puts a bad taste in your mouth working with an attorney. I've
That's
actually
true.
had, yeah, like lots of clients tell me, that they've had those kind of experiences in the past and it just did not feel right. It's like
Hmm.
answering the question, helping them, and then billing them behind their back, right? So
Jeez.
you want to go with an attorney who is upfront, proactive about, hey, let's review this every 3 years. I personally provide free complimentary trust review sessions. It's 15 to 20 minutes Zoom call. But once that's scheduled, it's easier for the clients to keep updated rather than, just putting in a drawer and forgetting it for the next 20
Yeah,
years, right?
that's good.
So that's a tip. And then the other tip would be whichever attorney that you work with, um, definitely ask them if they are going to prepare the deed of your house and also
Hmm.
record it for you on your behalf into the trust. Because the big ticket item for any family is their primary residence, the home that they own,
Right.
um, and needs to be retitled into the trust name when the trust is executed. Let's say you did the will, did the trust, but didn't record your home into the name of the trust because the attorney never told you about it. That's a necessary step. Or the attorney told
That's
you, here, you,
important.
you can go
Yeah.
record it yourself, but you just never got around it. Then guess what? Your house is going to go through probate in the same way as if you didn't have the trust. So that's a big um,
Repeat
tip.
that again, Christina. Please repeat that one more
Yes,
time.
yes.
Yeah.
So even if you have a will and a trust, if the real estate property that you have is not retitled to the trust name, then it will go through probate as if there was no trust.
Wow. Wow.
So you gotta ask your attorney, are you going to leave recording this deed, retitling the house up to me, or are you gonna be responsible and get that done as well too? So that's one question that you definitely want to ask when you're working with an estate plan attorney.
I think there's definitely more topics and more things we want to talk about, right, Christina?
Yep.
So we want to invite you guys. Thank you for those that have been um, staying on all the way to the end of this episode here. Surprise, we have a part two. If you guys
Yay.
don't know, we have a part two. And would you mind sharing what are some of those things that we're going to share in the part two?
I think in part two, we're going to talk about, like how to further protect your family. And
Yes.
some of the things that I've just briefly covered, like, minor children guardianship and the tips, we will go a little bit more in depth into it. And also, if
Yes.
there were any questions that were not answered today, we want to make sure that we answer that next round as well. So please come back and spend some time with us. I mean, it's a, nice Wednesday lunch hour. It's a hump day, everyone.
Hump day. Get through it. Uh, so we don't have any questions that popped up or comments that popped up right now, but I'm sure as people rewatch this or in the future, we will have some comments below. So don't be afraid. Any comment, if you guys feel like you don't want to put it publicly, in social media or YouTube, just reach out to Kristina or
Hmm.
myself, and if I can't answer it, Kristina can answer it. So, I just really appreciate again for all those people that took their time to watch our show today on estate planning secrets reveal. And our next one will be here. Let me double check when our next we have the next date. Do you have it in front of you, Christina? Let me
I
check.
think it's in May. I want to say it's
Okay.
May.
It's gonna be May 15th. Everyone. So May 15th at the same time, 12 o'clock. If you don't
Same
want to
time.
miss it,
Yep.
what I would do is either on Facebook or YouTube, you can notify yourself on there too. So we look forward to all the questions to come. How does the people get a hold of you besides social media?
Yeah. Feel free to go onto our website. It's parklegacylaw.com. And there are lots of good information there, as well as a form that you can ask questions, and we'll be sure to get back to you.
Awesome. Is there anything that if they send you their like email or something that you have a newsletter or something that you give away for free,
Yeah,
like a
I have a
document?
newsletter. And like I said, even for emergency guardianship cards, that's also on my Instagram. But,
Right.
it's easier if you just reach out to us and then
Okay.
provide us with your email so we can send you the emergency guardianship card. That way you can print it out, sign it, put it in front of your wallet, and at least feel that peace of mind for your kids starting today. So, yeah,
Perfect. Well, thank you, Christina. Thank you,
of
everyone.
course.
And we'll see you on the next one, May 12th.
Okay, thank
All right.
you.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.